Gang, hey man, another banger. Make sure you watch this one to the very end. If you have not done so already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also share this with somebody who needs to hear this. I packed this video with a ton of gold nuggets. If you haven't done so already, join the CLG community, 7-day free trial. Nothing to lose. If you do like the community, you can stay in. It is only $48 a month. It'll be the best money ever spent. All of my work is in there, including the money section, including the dating, everything that you can think of. And and make sure you make it to Miami. Tickets are in the pinned comment section. If you get in before the 15th, which is just a few days away, you get the maximum discount. If you wait till after the 15th, you have to pay full price. So with that being said, let's jump right into this video. Now, the reason I wanted to show that clip is I know I've shown previously on my previous videos the picture of how Jeff Bezos' wife was looking at Leonardo DiCaprio, but I never really actually had a video clip of that interaction. The video clip is actually worse than the picture. So the video clip, shows that in the presence of a masculine man, she forgets that her husband even exists. And it was so bad because Leonardo DiCaprio is so good with women naturally, or whatever the case is, because he dealt with so many of them. He naturally puts his hand out to guide her. And it cuts right before she grabs his hand, but I'm pretty sure she probably grabbed his hand. And she allowed another man to lead her. She allowed another man to lead her with her husband present. So this just goes to show you that money is not everything. For all those people that think, oh, it's about who got the bigger bank account. No, they're just putting you into the sucker role, right? So they want the sucker to come save them. You know what I mean? Especially when they're old, washed up, whatever the case is. They're just hoping there's a sucker out there that will still believe the facade. And once they find that sucker, they want to show him to the world like, yes, I got the sucker. Because you got to understand, a girl who's been ran through and been ran around the block, she can play the submissive role for a short period of time in order for her to get what she wants. See, a guy who's been around the block and who knows women and understands female nature, she can't necessarily play that guy for too long because he'll catch on to it too quickly. But here's the thing. A lot of guys like Jeff Bezos, NBA players, NFL players, a lot of the times, not all NFL players. Now, we're not talking about all rich people, right? We're talking about a few of them. Some of them work on their craft so hard. They put so much time into being the best businessman that they can be. They focus nothing on women. And because they have no focus on women, they do not understand them. They do not understand their psyche. They do not understand their nature. They're basically going off of mainstream media to tell them about women, and that's what they're going to trust. And here's the thing. Some of the most expensive dating coaches, which you'll be surprised, some of their clients are people like Jeff Bezos. Some of the most expensive dating coaches who charge the highest amount of money actually teach mainstream stuff. They actually teach mainstream techniques. Make sure she's happy. Make sure she's well taken care of. Make sure your money never hits below a certain amount. Make sure that you can pay for everything and you can be a man and you can show her that you're a provider. This is how they teach these guys. You're not going to get a guy like me teaching extremely wealthy person unless that extremely wealthy person is actually smart with women, who knows a little bit about women. But for the most part, these extremely wealthy guys, they're gonna be basically targeted by guys that are going to basically reinstate or reinsure them that the mainstream media that they read every goddamn day is actually correct when it comes to women. Because in all actuality, these very wealthy guys really don't want to waste any of their brain matter towards women, because the type of business that they built, the business that is that big, really gives them little to no time to socialize until they hit a certain marker where they can hire most of the things out in order for them to have a little bit of a social life. So most of the time, those guys are super socially awkward. Unlike Leonardo DiCaprio, his job was to understand women because he played roles where he actually had to understand women, like the Titanic, for example. So he had to be social. His job is for him. His job requires him to be social. Now, is every actor good with women? No. Will Smith is horrible. Not every actor plays the same roles. Or not every actor believes the role that they're playing. Or not every actor has access to the right information at the right time when they're ready and willing to learn it. So here's the thing. What person are you, right? You're watching my channel. You have access to the right information. The thing is it the right time for you? Does it make sense? Is my information, I know it's the right information just based off of results, but is it the right time? Because if you hear the right message at the wrong time, your brain will force you to just ignore it. It will force you to ignore me. It will force you to be like, CJ, the video sounds good, but that doesn't work in real life. That's theory. That's all theory. No, actually, the stuff that I talk about is actually real life. The stuff that most of these other dating coaches talk about is actually theory. And let me tell you why. Because the way to get popular on YouTube, yes, I will expose all the secrets, because my buddy has 5 million YouTube subscribers. He went 7 years without making $1. And it stressed him the fuck out. Because he went from no money for 7 years. Imagine working a job for 7 years and not getting paid. Even though he was working for himself. But he wasn't working for himself because he was working for YouTube. So yes, it's essentially like working a job and not getting paid. Doing video after video after video. Then he realized, the only way to get paid is to copy the guys who have a large following. Pretty much almost copy them down to the T. They make very similar videos to each other. I mean, so similar that when my boy showed me, I'm like, really? Is this social media? He's like, yep, social media is copying. Copying the top people, almost down to the T. That is exactly why when Fresh and Fit blew up, there were a bunch of podcasts that were pretty much the same. Okay. They showed that if they sat around a table with a bunch of girls and they talked to these girls, that they can build a following. So you know what I'm going to do? Sit around a table with a bunch of girls, talk to these girls so I can build a following. A bunch of other people just copied what works because they saw that it was a market for it. It's not a bad business idea. I'm not saying that they're doing a bad business idea, but doing it this way can also reinforce horrible information. Me, I decided to be like, I'm going to go against the mainstream and I'm going to tell the truth. Who cares how big my following becomes? Because I'm a long-term thinker, not a short-term thinker. So it might take me a while for it really to sink in, because what's happening in today's world, the reason why it doesn't really sink in is because guys aren't even approaching women. They aren't even talking to them. So there's no way that they can test my theory if they don't talk to women. Guys would go out every single day, see a beautiful woman, see a beautiful woman, see a beautiful woman, talk to none of them, and then they go to the internet and they don't know what to believe because they're not talking to women. So they don't know what works at all. They don't know. Or they'll go out and they'll talk to one woman or maybe two. And they still go back to the internet. They don't know what to believe because they don't know what works. They're not talking to women. Or you'll get a guy who talks to a bunch of women and he's doing the mainstream approach. Like, let's say he's doing what the mainstream guys say, happy life, happy wife, whatever, put the woman on a pedestal, cater to her, do all of this stuff. And he'll talk to thousands of women and he'll get no results. But people respect him because at least he's talking to women, and then they'll follow that person because they're like, well, I see that he's talking to women. I can see his Instagram page. He has the sunglasses and he's talking to women. But what they don't see is he's not fucking any of them. They're not texting him back. Imagine getting 1,000 numbers and nobody's texting you back. So you have to understand. You have to truly understand the real world and how it truly operates. Obviously, somebody in that room knows how female nature actually operates and what it actually responds to. And somebody in that room was clueless. And it doesn't matter that the guy is a billionaire. Doesn't matter that he's richer than Leonardo DiCaprio. People's like, well, Leonardo DiCaprio was taller. It doesn't matter if Leonardo DiCaprio was taller if he didn't know how women nature worked. It wouldn't matter. Doesn't make sense. It just would not matter. Yes. Does he meet her minimum attraction threshold? Yes, that's true. But there's a lot of guys who meet women's minimum attraction threshold, but they don't know how to execute. They don't know how to lead it nowhere. It's a lot of guys that get looked at by women a lot, and they do not know how to lead it anywhere, and they're not willing to put in the work or the time in order to get to the place where they can consistently lead the women that do meet their minimum attraction threshold. You'd be surprised. It takes work. I'm not sitting here and telling you that it doesn't, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. What I'm just telling you to do is just start the journey. That's it. Start the journey. 7-day free trial, COG. Just start the journey. Take the first step in the right direction. You've been taking a bunch of steps in the wrong direction. And here's the sad part. The more steps that you take in the wrong direction, the longer it will take you to get back to the starting point. Think about that. If you've been taking steps in the wrong direction for 15 years, it's going to take you a very long time. Even if you're sprinting, it's going to take you a very long time just to get back to the starting point, which basically means unlearning all the BS that you did learn, because all the BS that you did learn is naturally going to come up when you're using the process for the first few times. All of that BS that you thought worked back in the day, which it didn't, but all that BS that you thought worked back in the day, because what you called a win wasn't really a win. See, when I was approaching a bunch of women and getting no results, I would call everything a win. I would call getting her number a win. I would call, if she texted me back at least once, I would call that a win. But it's not, none of it was actually wins, because none of these girls actually wanted to do anything to do with me. They gave me their number so I can get the fuck out of their face. Some of them text back, just string me along a little bit longer, just to never fucking meet with me ever anyway. Just taking my fucking attention for as long as they could before I figured out I was boo-boo the goddamn fool. Somebody that she can text while she was still looking for the guy she really liked. So you have to understand, that's not winning. See, in the CLG community, I'm going to teach you how to win. I'm going to teach you how to get results. And you're going to have to keep going through the process, and you're going to have to keep tweaking the process so that you can consistently get results for yourself. And once you start getting results, stay consistent. Very simple. Stay consistent. Once you start getting results, you can almost kind of like shut off your brain at that point. And then it's just volume at that point. It's really that simple. I know how to get women now. I know how to get them through the process. I've done it several times. Now I can just shut off my brain, keep leveling up with the live Q&As, come to the live events, things like that. You know, meet with the brotherhood, build a brotherhood, have strong men and mentors and friends in my corner, and let's do some amazing things together on this planet. Financially, with women, events, all types of stuff. This is a brotherhood. This is the real deal. This is a community. You know what I mean? A community of like-minded individuals who want to become elite. Those are the people that I'm looking for. Because my job, I don't give a fuck if you become better than me. I don't care. Matter of fact, I embrace it. I want people to be better than me. I don't care. Like, that's not my thing. My thing is to turn as many guys elite as I humanly possibly can. I feel like I failed if I'm working with somebody and they didn't get better. I honestly feel like I failed if I worked with somebody and they didn't get better. I don't give a fuck if I got pussy the night before. If the guy that I'm trying to teach ain't getting pussy, it doesn't matter. That's why I do the free one-on-ones when you join. People hit me up in my DMs, they ask me questions like, bro, let's jump on a one-on-one. Bro, I gotta help you. I gotta help you. But when I do a one-on-one with you, I really want you to implement it and really use it in real time so that you can actually get better sooner rather than later. You know what I'm trying to say? And there's a lot of stuff that's going on in a lot of different people's heads. Their parents teach them certain things that basically is counterintuitive to their success. Their friends teach them things that's counterintuitive to their success. Like I said, the more steps you take in the wrong direction, the longer it takes you just to get back to the starting line. It doesn't mean that you're learning any slower than anybody else. It just means that there's a lot that you have to unlearn. That's cool. Everybody has their own journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm not expecting you to be great overnight, but I just want you to become great eventually. That's it. You know what I mean? And it's groupthink. So we're all trying to be elite. So we're all moving in the right direction. And maybe some of the guys, their advice, I even learned from. You know what I mean? Like I said, some of the guys, they have some text things that I'd be like, damn, that's a good idea. It's a great idea. So that's the thing. When you have a bunch of people in the same direction, moving towards the same direction, anything is possible. Even in the Bible, they say, you know, God split up people because he knew if everybody spoke the same language and lived in the same place, they can build buildings to the heavens. They can build buildings to the heavens if everybody lived in the same place and spoke the same language. What God was trying to say in the Bible was human beings' power is actually unlimited if they work together. In so many words, their power is unlimited if they work together. So if you haven't done so already, join the 7-day free trial. Link is in the description. Link is in the comments. CLG. And if you want to come live to the Miami Takeover, tickets is pinned in the comment. Tickets is pinned in the comment. Get it before the 15th. 15th is just a few days away. Get it before the 15th of this month in order to get the cheapest tickets. Come down, get your hotel, whatever you got to get, and let's have a fucking blast. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.